The features of Tito Mboweni's controversial draft economic recovery document. Now, the Labour Federation, Cosatu, says National Treasury should withdraw the document immediately, one of the very stern resolutions that emanated from Cosatu's executive committee meeting. Right on that story for Live at Lunchtime is political reporter Samkele Maseko. Why is Cosatu so upset?
Cosatu, Jeremy, is essentially upset because they feel that they were not consulted by the Minister of Finance, Tito Mboweni, when it comes to the formulation of this economic recovery strategy for South Africa's economic trajectory. So they feel left out in the lead, and they also feel as if the African National Congress itself, through its Economic Transformation Subcommittee, was not consulted at all, and they are going as far as to saying the Minister of Finance has gone rogue.
So is it a political play, and I want to get to that word rogue in just a minute, is it a political play on noses out of joint because they weren't incorporated, consulted, or is it the substantive nature of the proposals themselves which they don't like, or a bit of both?
Well, Jeremy, it's a bit of both, because they are saying that their policy that's formulated by their DPLA cannot be praised by the opposition, which they perceive as neoliberal, which would be the Democratic Alliance. You'd understand that the DA has come out and endorsed this economic recovery strategy by the Minister of Finance. But Cosatu, on the other hand, is saying that this economic tragedy, which purpose does it serve? Where was it formulated? Why didn't it go through Cabinet? But let's just listen to Cosatu's Deputy General Secretary, Soli Petro, speaking on this matter.
We have some questions about this draft economic recovery strategy document. What is the status of this document? Why release a document to the public before it has gone to the cabinet? Who will be responsible for it? What if it is divested to existing policies? This document is trying to exploit our economic crisis by pushing a right-wing agenda that was defeated in several ANC conferences. The document ventures into the domain of other departments, and at the same time, it does not offer any proposed real changes to fiscal, monitoring, or other macroeconomic policies, including inflation targeting in several other areas, including on the development, financing, and competition.
All right, is it a bit rich when people are saying he's going rogue, or is that the prevailing sentiment, Sam, that is existing in reaction to this document?
That is a prevailing sentiment that's cutting across the mass democratic movement structures. Earlier on this morning, we had the SACP's representatives basically saying it's the Tuesday night report, which they were not consulted on, which they have very strong views on, but they feel as if the Minister of Finance, Tito Mboweni, didn't go through the proper structures within the governing party. And some of the proposals in this particular strategy by the Minister of Finance don't speak to the ANC's conference resolutions on economic transformation that took place at the 2017 NASREC conference. We've also had question marks also being raised by some of my sources I've spoken to in the presidency, basically saying that they too, including the president, may have not had sight of this particular document by the Minister of Finance. And they are saying that they are not commenting on this particular issue, and the Minister of Finance himself, Tito Mboweni, must comment on his particular document on the economic recovery strategy for the country, including the ANC itself, through its spokesperson, Pule Mabe, yesterday, basically saying they will study the report. It's the first time they are having sight of it. Question is, why is the Minister of Finance not using the ANC's economic transformation subcommittee to push through an economic strategy for the country, where the economic nub of the country is being debated in the governing party?
Where is the president right now? He's not in the country, is he?
The president is not in the country, but interestingly, his name did come out in the Cosatu's Central Executive Committee meeting. Obviously, you'd remember they backed up President Ramaphosa for the ANC presidency. They're coming out to bat for their man and saying that there are those who are trying to taint his name with the CR17 leaks, but also saying they are taking the president to Marikana. Let's just listen to Cosatu speak on that particular issue.
But on the president, we are not taking the president to Marikana to apologize. Even though the president himself publicly in the media did make that apology. We are not taking the president there we are taking the president there to do the work and interact with the community of Marikana, but also with the workers in Marikana. Because the community of Marikana themselves, they have been saying can we make sure that the president comes to Marikana? There is no such thing that the president is not allowed to get into Marikana.
All right, the View this lunchtime from Cosatu. You're live at lunchtime, and still to come, the Health Minister